Live. What's up, everybody? It is your boy MM2K back again with another episode of Stadia Live Session. Today's volume is October 19th, 2020. On the heels of the good stuff. Now, I want to apologize first and foremost. My homie Project Storm, co-host of SML and also co-host of SSC podcast, and also co-host of The Commission that you can catch on Wednesdays on my other YouTube channel, MM2K Videos. You can see the link to that channel in the description. Definitely check it out for all general gaming news. But he had pointed out to me, he said, hey, Moss, when you're in that Discord, sometimes your Discord notification beeps go off, and I have no idea how to shut them off. So what I like to do at the beginning of each show, y'all, is let people know that I'm live in the Discord. So, it'll just be a momentary bug. But if you could bear with me for a moment. But if you're in the chat, man, just type something in the chat. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're alive. Let me see something here. I want to send out the tweet that I've already sent out, and something going on with Chrome. No, it's not Chrome. Just a little small talk before we let the room fill up. First and foremost, let me see. I'll say join me now. Join me. Let's do this. Let's do it. No studio mic. Join me now. People see me in doing my general gaming console war bibble babble. And they assume that I hate Microsoft. And no, I don't hate Microsoft. Short story, I wrote a paper in college many moons ago, right when Microsoft was starting to become the conglomerate that it is now. And I remember writing in that paper about how their status, them, swallowing up everything from Netscape to whatever. And that acquisition of Netscape had a personal impact because my brother was like was someone important at a local company called Stargate. And once they acquired Netscape, then that just opened the Pandora's box of them sucking up all the ISPs that they could. And Stargate was considered one of the best ISPs in the nation. I don't know about the world, but in the nation, because it was so fast and just it was just like fantastic, and it was so seamless using Stargate. So when Netscape sucked them up and all the other stuff, and then just did a whole bunch of other stuff too back in the late 90s, and really put a lot of people in angst. That's when you had Walmart taking over, and they were destroying the ma and pa shops, quote unquote. Just a lot of angst about the big conglomerates, right? So because of that, I, being the person that I am, I always like to, I don't want to say spit in the wind, but yeah, I like to go against common convention, and I like to force people to think beyond just what everybody else is thinking. You know what I mean? Because that's what I try to do. So what I did is I said, well, hold on. All of y'all got y'all pitchforks and stuff out, ready to go after Microsoft and Walmart and all this other stuff. So let me focus on Microsoft. I think Microsoft's conglomerate status could be a good thing. And man, oh man, was that the worst thing I could have wrote. It was a marketing paper that I had to write in school. It's for marketing. And the crazy thing about it is I was in school. I went to school a little bit late. I went to school a few years later than I should have. I wanted to dip my toes in the world before I went to school. And So I got a couple of jobs. I got a telemarketing job. I got a house building job, which was crazy. And then I landed at the place where, I have my tenure at now, right? And I started there for a couple years doing some, entry level stuff. And then I said, okay, now it's time to elevate, and I realized that I wasn't going to come in here and where I was at and work my way up to the top without something boosting me. So I said, okay, now it's time to go to school. I've done everything that I could. Now it's time to go to school. I can't, there's a ceiling here unless I go to school. So I went to school, and one of the people that was instrumental in my growth at my company, who was my mentor, happened to be one of my instructors. So we were real close, right? So my instructor was my marketing teacher and also my mentor. So as I'm writing this paper, I'm like, this cat is going to dig what I'm saying, right? Like I'm taking this to a whole nother, stratosphere, you know what I mean? Intellectually. He going to dig what I'm saying. Took my paper, gave me a big fat F. I said, what? I said, yo, I'm going to call him Sandy. I'm like, Sandy, what is you doing? I was like, this is the God degree, Sandy. What is you doing? He said, I'm not giving you an F because of the papers, because you didn't hit the technical points of what should have been hit on this paper. He said, I want you to change your thinking, which was kind of crazy. But at the same time, what he was trying to do was he was looking beyond me as just his pupil, because I was more than just his pupil. He wanted to enlighten me to look at things more broadly at 5,000 feet, as we say. And so he did with me because he was my mentor, what he really couldn't do with no other student. He gave me an F, forced me to do some more research on my marketing, quote unquote, pitch, and then come back with another paper, and which I did. I still didn't agree with him at that moment, but I see what he was trying to do. He had felt like that I had siloed my thinking just simply because I was trying to play devil's advocate and I wasn't thinking broadly enough. And because we had that special type of relationship, he could put me in a position where he could give me an F, even though I deserved a better grade, and force me to think and do better. And I'm thankful for him to do that, because even though, like I said, I didn't agree with them, I appreciated the effort, and it helped me see why, even though I might have a point of view, even when I feel like my mind is set on something, it's always still good to what? Listen. It's still good to listen, especially if you wake up with the mind state that, hey, how can I learn today? You know what I mean? What can I learn today, rather? If you do that, you'll always enhance your understanding and your knowledge and your growth, man. And that was one of the greatest things that he could have done for me. Now, why did I bring all that bibble babble up? I brought it up, and while you're looking, you'll see here. Let me remove this too, because this is like intrusive. Just out of the way. You're looking at gameplay of me playing Marvel's Avengers. I know not everyone's favorite game right now, but playing Marvel's Avengers on Stadia. I just want to show you guys how good it runs on the platform. The platform is just amazing for those that do not know. But the reason why I brought that up is because I'm willing to take risks. I mean, and I took a big risk. Even before my mentor graded my paper, while I was giving my presentation, the class was booing me. They weren't booing me because the presentation was bad. They were booing me because the presentation was pro Microsoft. And at the time, that was the worst thing you could have done, I want to say in 97, maybe 98. Oh, yeah, people love their Windows 95 or whatever. I think that was like 90, maybe 98, 99. But their conglomerate status was getting too big and people didn't like it. So as I'm reciting this paper, they're sitting there looking like, is this man, he really in favor of Microsoft? What they doing? What? Yeah, they were. People were hot. So yeah, I said all that to say this. I'm not one. I have my opinions. I'm very staunch about my opinions, and sometimes my opinions can be jagged. It is what it is. I've been never one to mince words. I try not to be reckless and just say anything, but I'm not one to mince words. And then when I'm accepting criticism, I don't want you to mince words back to me. I want you to give it to me straight up. Now, I'll agree or I'll disagree. And if I disagree and you were right, I got to come back to you and I got, I'm saying I got to give you your kudos. You know what I mean? With that being said, no, I don't hate Microsoft at all. I just think that they can do better. And that was all brought up because the last few weeks, ever since they got rid of Terry Myerson, they have been pure hell using Windows. It's been pure hell. They did an update that partitioned my SSD drive in 6 different parts. And I guess it was they had to do that in order to do the update. But what they didn't do was include a step to remove the partition. So as I'm trying to boot up, Windows is telling me that, you're having a boot error. Now, this may have been just with me, or I don't want to say it was just with me. I'm pretty sure it wasn't just with me, but it may have not happened to everybody when this update came through like a couple weeks ago or a week ago. But but it was bad enough understanding how this happened. And then they just sent out another update. I think it was yesterday. And I just applied it today that addressed the problem. But I just think they can do better. It's like quality. It's like they were at one end of the extreme pendulum where they were all about quality, but they just spent too much and they ran through too much money, right? And now they're at the other extremity to where they're more cost efficient, but quality is not job one. And that's bad. That's bad, especially for Microsoft. You expect Microsoft, they may not have the greatest pitch, but you expect the product that you're getting to be at a certain standard. And I don't feel that way anymore. This ain't got nothing to do with Xbox. I don't feel that way about Windows. Windows is trash. It's absolute trash. So I've been having those type of problems. Now, hold on. What the heck happened? This is supposed to be an hour and 9-minute demo. And all of a sudden, it just brought me back. Okay. So, yeah, those are the problems that I've been having too. But let me just shout out the chat. All of y'all here. Thank you so much. I appreciate and love all of y'all as always. Let's see here. Who we got? We got Eddie Player One. Good stuff. Good stuff. We got the homie Stadia Rev. We got Stadia Universe in the house. My homie Zondic dropping that Chronos knowledge on us this weekend. We got Dudes as Machiato in the house. Hey, Gamer Boy with 2005. I can't get over that pick. My homie Hell Monkey, what's going on? Hey, Dazadini, what's going up, good friend? Dylan Totosa, what's going on? Good to see you again. Ignacio Carrera Gonzalez, what's going on, my good friend? Mule Spud, yo. What is going on? And everybody else as you're coming through. I really appreciate all of y'all, man. Thank you so much for your support, man. It means so much to me. Do me a huge favor, though. Let everybody know that we're live. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Rock those bells for notifications, please. Join me now. All right, I got that here, open mic session. I'm just going to send out this one last tweet, and we're going to get into stuff, man. We're definitely going to get into it today. Just want to talk a little bit about the things going on this week. Some very important message. I don't know if you've ever seen Don't Be a Menace to Society While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood by the Wayans Brothers. It's supposed to be a spoof on all of the Don't Be a Menace movies, the South Centrals, all the gang banging type movies was, Leave It to the Wayans Brothers of A Living Color, Sean, Marlon Wayans and stuff like that. Their family is just iconic when it comes to comedy. But leave it to them for dropping crazy stuff. The homie good Charles already said good stuff, but temper expectations going into tomorrow, guys. We're gonna talk about all that. Homie Chris in the house. What's up, Chris? What's going on? Oh, there you go, Chris. Stadia Rev says message. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna talk about a message that was provided to us by a great content creator. We'll get into all that a little bit. But as we're, treat this out, let everybody know we're coming in live. I got a gaming chair, y'all, I got to put together. A little upset because I've been meaning to put it together this weekend, but I had crazy stuff, man. I told you guys they're doing construction next to my house. They're building condos next to my house. They're building, they're renovating the other place adjacent to my house. And it's been a horror. It's been a horror living here. They busted a water main on Friday. So we were without water. And I told the owner, I said, man, I need your business card. I said, because you got trucks and stuff coming down here. This is a no outlet. This is one of them no outlets in the woods too. You know what I'm saying? So if you see a wild rabid animal, we got to run back in the crib, man. We can't, ain't no running down this lane and down that way. You just going to run in the woods and you're going to get caught. So I told him, I said, look, man, this is no outlet. Make sure your construction people are not blocking our way in and way out, man. And he didn't leave me a card. So what ended up happening was his people, they were trying to dig up some pipe and they broke a water main. And then I smelled gas Saturday morning. So that wasn't fun. So I was dealing with that while trying to get SML running with the homie Storm. So that was a big mess. So we had all that to deal with. And because of that, I can't put my new gaming chair together. Not until I'll try it after this, but I got some more stuff I got to do too. So with that being said, enough with the small talk. Y'all ain't come here to hear all my bibble babble about me, gas leaks and all that other crazy stuff, right? Y'all came here to talk about the news. But before we get into the good stuff, I'm going to bring up something here. I'm going to bring up something that is from our good friend, Bryant Chappelle of the Nerf Report. So I sent out this tweet earlier, and the tweet says, Brav flippin' O. See Bryant's latest video that lays waste to the validity of IGN, Inside Gaming, and the likes. Stadia isn't dead. Journalism is. That's kind of like my ad lib of something that he says in the video. So here's what Bryant does. In a video, in a very decent, and when I say decent, I mean like good size video. It isn't too long. It isn't wham bam, thank you, man, but it isn't too long. It's like a perfectly timed video for something of this magnitude. But in that video, he talks about how if you look at the 90-day plateau of Stadia, there's a lot of stuff that we're doing that really nobody else is doing. You know what I'm saying? Now, I always say temper your litmus. I know the term temper your expectations, but hashtag temper your litmus, meaning, it's not, I always use this analogy. It's not fair for me to judge the SAT score of my 14-year-old versus the SAT score of my 18-year-old. Do you understand what I'm saying? If my 14-year-old on their PSAT score gets like, I don't know, a 900. I don't know what the score standards are now, but 900 when I was growing up on your PSATs was like a pretty damn good starter, right? I think idealistically you want to get 1,400 or something like that. I don't even know if they have PSATs anymore, right? But idealistically, you wanted to get, and the PSATs were the aptitude scores that let you know what college would accept you. If your score wasn't but so high, then you couldn't get into the top schools in the States, right? So then that's regardless of money. You know what I mean? It's all about the scores that you got that where the schools would accept you. All right. So idealistically, I think the score that you wanted to get was 1,400 or was it 1,800? Something like that. Anyway. So let's just say if the score that you wanted to get is 1,400 and your ninth grader, your person first just coming into college, gets 900, that's good. But if your 12th grader, person that's about to go into college, scores 1050 or 1150, yeah, that's higher than what the ninth grader score. But this person has been through the muck and the rain and the weather of the storm a lot longer than the ninth grader. Of course their score should be higher. Of course their offerings should be more, because they've established more relationships with teachers, been through the campaign of the pride and true 12th graders having to do this and turning this project. They have a lot more experience, so their score should be higher. But for someone of that magnitude, of that caliber, 1150, if our goal is to get you in the best schools in the country, 1150 ain't cutting it. If 1400, you know what I'm saying, is our goal. But we got a lot to work with if the ninth grader has 900, because the average for a ninth grader is like 600 or 700, and they scored a couple hundred above that. Y'all get what I'm saying here? So that's why I say temper your litmus. Like, don't compare Stadia at this moment to the expectations and the offerings of PlayStation and Microsoft. PlayStation and Microsoft and even Nintendo been at this for decades. Stadia is new. Stadia has told you time after time. I had to do the Cyndi Lauper without the homie Storm. But they've told you time after time, we're putting this out here in a preliminary phase. We expect people to come to this in the first year. Some will like it. Some will say, nah, this ain't for me. It ain't got enough yet. I get better elsewhere. This is what Jack Buser said. He said that there'll be better offerings elsewhere. Those were his words. But then people will come back and say, wow, the offerings, the experience, everything has improved so drastically. That means that Stadia is in this in the long run, for the long run, and that the earlier offerings are just a preliminary stage. You got to look stage. You got to look at it as the ninth grader taking the PSATs. Now, yes, that ninth grader that took the PSATs, maybe in the math section and in the reading section, he scored higher than the 12th grade counterpart. But if the 12th graders cleaned it up everywhere else, all around, the 12th grader might be more appealing to schools at this moment. But that person's only in ninth grade. That schools are going to be eyeballing this person for the future. And you don't just give up on a ninth grader because they didn't score as well as somebody that's been in the game. No. If they come out the gate being better than a 12th grader in XYZ, that's a lot of promise. So that's why I'm into Stadia. I'm into Stadia because despite all the 10.7 teraflop talk and all the stuff from Yang Ye and the mean cast boys and all these people that want to hate on the platform, the thing that they cannot deny is that Stadia came out of the gate doing things better at a lot more fathomable price than the world's most powerful console and its other counterparts. We're getting 60 frames per second now gaming in a vast majority of the same performance that they're offering you for backwards compatibility on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 that we ain't got to pay $500 for. They want you to pay $500 for the stuff that we're basically getting now. That's a big deal. Now, again, does that automatically mean that Stadia overall to the average consumer is the best bet over Xbox and a PlayStation? In totality, maybe not at this moment, but that's not their purpose. Again, it's like the ninth grader that took the PSATs. We're trying to evaluate a base level performance. And if that ninth grader is coming in the game doing 900 on the PSATs and your star senior only dropped 1150, my God, my God, my God. That's basically what we're saying. So I just want people to temper their litmus. I know the term temper your expectations, but what helps temper your expectations is when you temper your litmus. Don't go into tomorrow or this whole campaign expecting PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X level announcements. You may get some good stuff That's going to show you that the platform is growing in tremendous ways, but don't sit there and expect to come out of the gate saying, okay, now Stadia is ready to destroy. No, this is a process. Jack Buser already told you that they said that people will come back years later, not a year later, years later. I think we're going to see a lot of great stuff this week, a lot of stuff that will help grow mindshare. But again, to put Stadia's total offering up there side by side, 1v1 versus a Series X or a PlayStation 5 to the general consumerhood, don't expect that right now. Expect some great stuff, but don't expect that. And there's nothing wrong with not expecting that. You can still get some great, fantastic stuff that says, okay, now this should start making sense to more people without it having to be a 1v1 match for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Again, this is a process. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So we got to remember that. But back to what Bryant Chappelle had put out there in the Nerf report. They don't want to give that credit to Stadia. He said, if you look at a 3-month plateau, there's so much stuff that they're doing. They're like that 9th grader that is maybe overall they hit 900, but there's certain elements within that 900 that they're doing better than their star 12th grader that nobody's paying attention to. He mentions the number of games and the offerings from Stadia Pro opposed to Xbox and PlayStation Plus, Xbox Live Gold and PlayStation Plus. They went from the heat of the criticism, they went from 27 to 92 games. And I'm going to add this on top of that. They've also decimated. They've decimated. This is not rhetoric. This is the truth. They've decimated by the end of its 11th month. They would have decimated what Xbox One was able to present in games, right? Excuse me. And they're on pace of not only being close to, but surpassing what PlayStation 4 had in 12 months. And 11 months, they are beating what Xbox had in 12 months. And they're on track of beating what PlayStation 4 had in its first 12 months. But nobody talks about that in the mainstream media. He also points out that, again, you get over $1,200 worth of value just I think he said in the last 3 months of games from from Stadia Pro. He said their offerings I'm paraphrasing here, but their offerings have decimated. That's my word of the day, decimated what PS Plus and Xbox Live Gold is offered. I guarantee you that if this was Xbox Live Gold releasing these games, people would be clapping like baby seals. There would be no, yeah. They would be like, oh, you got Hitman, this, that, and the other. Oh, believe you me. But again, because it's Stadia, people want to hate on it. Or they want to ignore it. And there's so much more that he said. And then, to me, I think that the phrase, and I'm paraphrasing here, that crystallized it is that, he basically said places like IGN and Inside Gaming. Inside Gaming is just pathetic. I'm sorry. They're just pathetic. But places like IGN and Inside Gaming, they want to proclaim that Stadia is dead. But it's not Stadia that's dead. It's journalism that's dead. Because, and he asked something that I've been asking a long time too. How in the hell can a guy like him, who's filming this, he said in his garage, how can he do 50 for in the last 3 months, do 50 plus stories on Stadia, all of them different. All of them different. And a publication like IGN in the same time can only find 2. And he said he gets it. Stadia is not uber popular, so you don't expect it to have as many stories as PlayStation or Xbox. But they have 5 PlayStation stories a day, he said. If you do the math, 51 episodes of the Nerf Report don't even hardly equate to 5 stories a day. Do the math. But you're trying to tell me that you can't find at least 5 to 10 things to write about a month? You can't even come up with one guy versus 250 plus people. And y'all want to tell me that the media isn't a joke? And now I've said this over several podcasts for dozens of hours, but I got to give it to Brian. He crystallizes this perfectly in just this one video. You guys have to listen, watch this video. You have to watch it. If you're not following the Nerf Report, you're doing yourself a disservice. This is not, excuse the terminology, this is not a circle jerk. This is not fanboying. This is just like, if you just take the raw numbers, Stadia is outpacing Xbox in games within the first 12 months. It's about to outpace PlayStation. If you play Plus has 30 or plus more games in it. The value of the free games that they give you every month. The fact that they went from 27 games to 92. So on the feature sets that they have. You still have places like Polygon that are doing lazy reporting or just simply lying to you, but we're going to go with the latter. We'll be lazy too. We're not going to investigate and see if they just didn't, if they're being lazy. We'll be lazy too. We'll just say that they're lying. Lying to you and telling you that Stadia still don't have basic features. And that's a lie. What the last feature left is crowd play, right? Crowd choice is here. Everything else is here. Why are they lying to you? Or being lazy? Bryant has a lot more dignity than I am. I have no integrity. I will be the first to admit it. I'm just going to say that they're lying. He's giving them the benefit of the doubt. He's saying that it's likely lazy journalism. But I'm going to say that they're lying. The hell with it. But to his point, all of it points to them just going to Reddit, looking at the most sensationalized interview or posting and running amok with that. And let me tell you about Inside Gaming. Ever since they had that big debacle, where again, I'm not trying to be insensitive, I'm not trying to pour salt over old wounds, but the truth is the truth. Ever since they had that massive layoff and people were upset and distraught and all that other stuff, they've become more clickbaity. They're not even funny anymore. They just become straight up select. I used to think they were funny. This ain't got nothing to do with Stadia. Well before Stadia was a thing, or they started once they started having those issues, I stopped following them a while ago. Because they were just becoming more cringy and more salacious than they were funny. It's really pathetic. They're really pathetic. But again, it's a shame for everybody that, again, to Brian's point, how can one guy filming in his garage? JXR was good, homie. How can one guy filming in his garage do so much better than a staff full of 250 people? And if you're a journalistic group, you can't just simply follow the clicks. I get where you have a baseline of clicks, but you have a job. You have a responsibility of serving the people information. And 2 stories versus 50 on a gaming platform is not serving people information. They gave more coverage to Ouya. And believe you me, Stadia has way more engagement, way more participation, and way more followers than Ouya. Trust me. But with that said, Stadia gets less coverage. Why? Let me tell you why. Because the whole proposal of Stadia threatens, in the mind of many, threatens the livelihood of dedicated device gaming. And all of the major players that fuel these publications, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and even PC, is solely dedicated device gaming. So when you have Stadia that dares to come out and be a sole cloud gaming solution, and again, cloud gaming altogether is niche. Even GFN, who GFN right now is tracking with more engagements, but as analysts say and have reported, that GFN's engagements are mainly with its free tier, which isn't sustainable. It's causing a lot of problems for GFN and is actually stifling its growth. So GFN is costing NVIDIA more than it's giving in more ways than they desire. All of these cloud gaming infrastructures right now are going to, be somewhat in the red likely. But GFN's is really in a pickle, in a fickle, because the majority of the overwhelming majority of its engagement and participation is the free tier, not the $5 tier. And that's not what GFN wants. That's not what NVIDIA wants. But even at that, getting back on point, cloud gaming altogether is niche. It's a niche proposition. If analyst projections are right, even in 2025, when they're expected to make $1 billion or something like that, or $8 billion, they're expected to cloud gaming is expected to be an $8 billion business by 2025. They're expecting that all other gaming is going to be at $200 billion. So if those projections are right, even for the next 5 years, the bread and butter for an IGN, Inside Gaming, a GameSpot, you know what I mean, Kotaku or whoever, is what? Dedicated device gaming. Those are the people that send you the swag, that send you the advertisements, that send you the dev kits. And again, because they're making more money, that means they have more followers. So you want to, of course, write the articles that are going to bring the masses. We get it. And if you upset your bread and butter, then you don't get the swag. You don't get the advertisement. And then you don't get the following. And the following goes elsewhere. So why upset your bread and butter when it seems like for the next 5 years, at least, that cloud gaming is not going to turn the tide as far as financial givings? Why tell the truth or report positively on it periodically? Whether it's the truth or not, why do that? That's their mind state. That's the paradox that has been created by the mainstream media. So y'all think I pick on the mainstream media because they don't agree with me. I don't give a damn if they agree with me or not. Y'all got to understand the okie doke. The okie doke, the rope-a-dope is they're telling y'all, let's hate Stadia. Stadia's trash. Stadia, they're telling you all these lies on Stadia with the hopes that you will first hate on Stadia, and then you will say to yourself, okay, well, if we hate on Stadia's sole cloud gaming solution, why should we like any of it? Once Stadia falls down, then the rest should fall like dominoes. That's what the daddy device places are hoping. Even Xbox at the moment, they don't care if Stadia falls or dies because they've marketed xCloud as just a supplementary service, and they need all the time that they can get to perform like Stadia. And I keep hearing, well, Orion. Orion is something that is baked in at the game engine level. It is not coding that goes into the server banks and is going to make xCloud just perform, exponentially overall. If somebody doesn't want to license Orion in their code, it don't matter if the game is on Stadia, Fladia, or Beta, or xCloud, xLoud, or xMiles. It doesn't matter. It doesn't get the Orion, servicing to it, and it still is as lousy as it would be or as good as it would be on the platform. So let's just say if more, I don't know, let's say Call of Duty, the next Call of Duty. If I say, you know what, we're working on our own proprietary version of Orion, we're not putting Orion in our thingy. We don't want to even put it in our code. If you go to play it on xCloud with still the Xbox One S server blades in there, it's going to run at the Xbox One S level opposed to how it's running on GFN, Stadia, or Shadow. So let's not overtalk what Orion's going to do. It's not magical cellophane that you can spray into the servers and make everything on xCloud work better. And in all likelihood, so Microsoft gets its maximum dollar out of Orion, the tech that Bethesda created that is going to boost performance on games, cloud games. For them to get maximum profit off of that, they're going to license it to everybody. Now, are they going to tweak the code to make it benefit xCloud more? Oh, probably so. But again, it has to be licensed, and somebody has to be willing to use it in code and use it in their platform or in their game. Yes, Knicks, we go hard. I got bars. But I'm serious. We gotta understand what's going on here. It is the okie doke. We're going to hate on Stadia, knock it down. And once we knock it down, then we're going to start asking you, if Stadia, I can see the headlines now. Can't y'all see them? Just close your eyes. Envision them. Envision them with me. We're going in the hot tub time machine, baby. We're going into the alternative future. Can't you see the head? Just close your eyes. Google Stadia fails. Why is there hope in other cloud gaming services? Or Google Stadia falls flat. What does this mean for cloud gaming? If Google Stadia with Google's war chest couldn't defeat dedicated device gaming or be on par with it, then what are these other services will do? We got to admit, y'all, and see, well, this is where the okie doke comes out. We got to admit, Stadia did have the best tech. Oh, look at that. They put in the best foot forward that you could with cloud. Then they're going to start admitting all the positives about Stadia. Yes, Stadia did this and they had this and they had that, and they still couldn't beat or compete with Daddy device gaming. So if Stadia, the best version of of cloud gaming, couldn't stand strong, why are we going to believe in these other ones? We're wasting our money in investing in this tech. Can't y'all see it? I see the headlines. It's the okie doke. People like Yang Ye exposed themselves, y'all. Remember when Yang Ye sat there? Big ups to the homie, your boy Twiz, another great video. When he said, well, why would you get it on Stadia? Why Stadia? Oh, well, maybe you'll get it on Stadia because, well, for the people that don't work for it, yeah, that's great. Yeah. But why not just get the DRM free version? Support the devs the most. He was starting to have a malfunction. I'm surprised his circuitry just didn't blow up and his head didn't burst and the flames and sparks shot out all over his picture of Kojima. I'm serious. Oh, well, you get the DRM free version on COG. That's such bullpucky. Like if you buy Cyberpunk on Stadia, you're not supporting the devs. Like Google ain't just give CD Projekt Red a bunch of money to ensure that regardless if they pushed it back for Google or not, that final release date was going to be November 19th. That wasn't a coincidence, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't care what nobody tell me. Now, maybe they did push it back from September because they needed to. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they just did it for Google all in entirety. But the fact that that date is November 19th, that ain't no coincidence. Stop it. That's no coincidence. And if it's not a coincidence, then money had to be exchanged. So, yeah, Cyberpunk being on Stadia does support the devs. Because Google threw in money somewhere. And they're throwing in money now with this ad campaign. There's money all over the place. Hell, I need to make Cyberpunk 2075 the minigame so I can get me some cash. Buy me a pack of Twizzlers. You feel me? But that's the best he could do. Go on, get the DRM free version on COG. Y'all say I got bars. He got bars. Get the DRM free version on COG. Sound like Snoop. Stop it. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. But again, kudos to Bryant, man. I don't want to speak his whole video. I know I butchered it a lot. I just wanted to express my feelings on it and the media and just give a warning to everybody that's listening, right? This is why we had this one guy. He said that he bought The Division 2 and he was playing NBA 2K21. He enjoyed it and all this other stuff. So I welcomed him. I said, welcome to the family. And here goes a list, y'all, of content creators that you want to listen to. Like, don't listen to the mainstream media. That is why the mainstream media is here to lie to you. Their bread and butter, their swag, the potential for clicks lies in the hands of the dedicated device warlords. Microsoft, even though they talk all that talk, their tech isn't there yet. Orion is something that's built in at the game engine level. If somebody says, you know what, I don't want Orion, I'm cool with just leaning off the productivity of how I built the game, then the xCloud version is screwed. If Orion is in it, it's going to be fantastic across the board. But while those Xbox One S server blades are in there, you take the xCloud version versus the Stadia versus GFN and even Shadow. The xCloud version is going to be in last place until they switch those server blades. Everybody is not going to want to use Orion, you know what I'm saying, off the bat. Every game isn't made with Havoc. You know what I'm saying? Every game ain't made with Unreal. There's going to be other companies that you haven't even heard of that are going to make competitors to Orion. Just like, shout out to the homie Zogic. The standard bearer for, what do you call it? For ray tracing right now is Microsoft's proprietary version, DXR, that's embedded in NVIDIA. That's being used by NVIDIA right now. But the Kronos group, a group that works towards, increasing the portability of certain, visual effects and stuff like that, they built a version of ray tracing for Vulkan that works on Vulkan. It's rumored to be, or AM, it's not even rumored. AMD said that they're going to start using that version of ray tracing in their new RDNA, I believe, too. If Zogic is in the chat, tell me, Zogic, if I'm right or if I'm wrong, if I've read this right, or if I was reading it upside down with my glasses backwards. that in RDNA 2 chips, they're going to start supporting this. Or maybe I got this wrong. Maybe they said second version is something that they're going to start supporting this Kronos group version of ray tracing. It's an alternative to what NVIDIA's doing with DXR. Or not what NVIDIA's doing, but what Microsoft's doing with DXR. So you guys got to understand that people have embedded interest in what they do. The embedded interest is we're trying to make money. It's not about informing you anymore. It's not like when I was a lad. When I was a lad and I put on my trousers in the morning, mama, papa. Hey, look, it ain't like those days anymore. Journalism is dead. Not Stadia. Journalism is dead. Bryant couldn't have been no more spot on. Journalism is dead. You get people that put together some fancy words. It may sound tantalizing. It may sound appealing, but it's not truthful. It's not factual, and it doesn't show you the whole picture. That's what journalism used to be about, showing you the whole picture. Maybe the presentation of the facts and an opinion piece used to be separate. But what happens nowadays is people skim through the facts. Well, yeah, this happened and this tree fell and to hurry up and skim and get to the opinion piece because it's all about me. It's all about me. This is what I think, and I want everybody to think just what I think. They skim through the facts to get to the opinion piece. Y'all are not experiencing true journalism, especially not in gaming today. Gaming is disgustingly entrenched in meism and in opinions and rhetoric. So you guys and gals got to think about this, man, and understand the agendas that are out there. I'm not just saying this because these people don't agree with me. If these people had a fact-based rebuttal for the things that we're saying here in the community, all right, then we're going to say, I would just say, give them a pound, be like, all right, I'll supply you up, but I'm going to see, we're going to see once the dust settles. And I would just continue to give my argument. They would continue to give theirs. But they're still using the same rhetoric from 2019 that's already been debunked. So you just got to, strategize, recognize, and realize, people, as I always say. You got to know the truth from the fiction. And now I go to the chat because this is supposed to be an open mic, not open mouth, not MM2K open mouth. Ashes to Ashes says it's all sensationalism now. Homie Bippity Bop. Yep, it's been dead, Ashes. And shout out to the homie Ashes too. He put out a great tweet today. I got to be honest, I was kind of curious on. I'm like, I'm curious now what's going on with the heat on the Xbox Series X because people said it was violently hot. And this came from some journalistic sites that said it was violently hot. But somebody else had came out and said, and I can't listen to the journalists. I know there were other journalists that said it wasn't a big deal, but then somebody else credible came out and said it wasn't a big deal. So I said, okay, it must not be a big deal. And then Digital Foundry, who I know they're like hit or miss, but Digital Foundry did their own test, and I think Ashes retweeted it and said, yeah, look, everything is cool. It's gravy. And shout out to Ashes for that. Shut your punk behind up, Cold Blood. Where you been at, bro? Oh, you know what? Because I ain't been on Twitch. That's good. Cold Blood's mad at me. Hey, man, I'm coming back, baby. I'll be back tomorrow, man. It's going to be hard, though, Cold Blood, because it's Stadia. It's the good stuff. The good stuff, baby. I don't know, man. It's going to be a hard week, but maybe I'll do something in the mornings. I'll get to my schedule tomorrow. Shout out to Hell Monkey, as always. He says Ashes to Ashes, and that goes for every subject along with gaming. Absolutely. Bippity Bop and JXR, what's up? The homie JXR one in the house. Facts. Says the DRM free version on what? I hope he doesn't think. No, here's what he's saying. Dudes, see COG, which is the storefront that is created by CD Projekt Red. Anything that's sold on COG is the DRM free version. Now, you know what? I could be wrong about that. Any CD Projekt Red game on COG is DRM free. I don't know if every game on there is DRM free. But every CD Projekt Red version is DRM free. Excuse me. CD Projekt Red don't believe in DRM. And that's cool. They believe that, hey, if you're going to take the risk and pirate their game, fine. It's just going to bring more attention to the platform. And there's just going to be some things that you can't pirate that you have to buy. And you're going to want to buy it anyway because you're going to appreciate it. They said that, and shout out to the homie, what do you call it? Jason Schreier. Now, again, I don't agree with Jason Schreier, his opinion, and there's too much opinion mixed into his reporting. However, he is a fantastic investigative journalist. That's one thing you can't take from him. If he says, hey guys, such and such is about to happen, it's about to happen. I can't remember the last time he was wrong about something like that. And in his book, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, sat down with CD Projekt Red and they explained why they're not they're not for DRM. We got Squid in the house. He said the Stadia Revolution. Monkey 88. What's up, Squid? Monkey says the first party title will come soon. Possibly we'll hear an announcement about it before year end. Absolutely. In the end, Jay Raymond needs to keep working on the first party Stadia game that shows off his true platform. Yeah, and here's where I say, I'm glad you brought that up, Deuce. Here's where I say you guys and gals really want to temper your litmus. Stadia, golly. Jade Raymond, I think it was Alex, I forget Alex's last name, and I think it was Aaron Hoffman John. I believe it was those three. They sat on like this Stadia panel and they were answering questions. And one of the questions was, when are we going to get the first big AAA game from the Google studios? And Jade Raymond, see, all this stuff is out there, but nobody wants to report it and put it in a positive light. Again, because they have an agenda. Jade Raymond said, look, you're not going to get our quote unquote Breath of the Wild for 5 years. For 5 years, you're not going to see their big ticket game, because when they put their game together, it's going to encompass all of the Stadia stuff, all of the, the wonders of the platform and all that. And it's taking time to build that. That's what the data collection phase is. So they're building on concepts now and parts now that they can get done early, but the heavy meat and potatoes, they're not going to be able to do until the platform gets to a certain level with the AI, machine learning, and all that stuff. And that's why this data collection phase is so important, y'all. And shout out to the homie Eddie Player One, and shout out to the homie Chase of Stadia Talk. They, in an early episode of This Week on Stadia, way back in the day, found and validated what we've been saying here, that Stadia also believes that this is an early access / beta moment, beta stage. When you used to go to the Stadia page, it would say beta in it. But for some reason, and I think it was a mistake, for some reason, I would presume for marketing purposes, they removed the word beta out of there. I guess they thought it would be more impactful and would drive more units in homes and stuff. And they really felt like that they were in crunch time as far as getting as much data as they need going into the next generation. And I think that part ended up backfiring for them a little bit, at least a little bit. But even they believe that this was a beta phase, an early access phase. If you take that in culmination with what Jack Buser has said, then of course we are the founders. We're in the forefront of helping Google build this platform. While we're helping them build this platform, they are giving us great experiences, some new, some old, but the old ones feel better than they ever have. Let me give you guys a prime example. Now, what I'm about to say is not going to be highly popular, but it needs to be said. Now, one of my favorite games series of all time is BioShock. BioShock 1 and BioShock 2. Hold on, let me blow my nose. Hold on. BioShock 1 and BioShock 2 are two of my favorite games the last several gens. But Bioshock 3, to me, here it comes. All right, I got to duck the tomatoes. Watch the viewership drop. Bioshock 3, to me, this is my personal opinion. I know Duncan is going to come and meet me in the parking lot and beat my kneecaps in. But Bioshock 3 to me, or Bioshock Infinite, to me was not it. It was not it. I did not like it. I didn't like the pacing of it. I didn't like the level design. I didn't like the lacking challenge of it. I just didn't like it. I thought it was Bioshock 1 and 2 developed by someone on a serious acid trip. Like all the charm and everything that in the sense of urgency that was in the previous two titles wasn't there. And Bioshock 2, don't get me wrong, isn't perfect by all means. It had some serious pacing problems. But there were parts of Bioshock 2. There are several hours within Bioshock 2 that I loved more than Bioshock 1. Bioshock 1 overall is my favorite in the series. But 2, when you get to the middle, it's a fantastic game. The beginning is too slow. The end is just, you're too OP. But that middle of that game is fantastic. It's, if the whole game was paced like that, that would be my favorite game. But my experience with Bioshock Infinite was drastically heightened when I built it on my very first hardcore gaming rig. My brother had came up from out of town. I had scored on a real cheap, a gigabyte motherboard, which at the time was like brand new. And I think I put like a second generation i7 in it. That's when it just came out. And oh man, and I hooked up, and my brother helped me hook it up, and I was playing Bioshock at 60 frames per second. It was really my first time with hardcore experience on a PC playing at 60 frames per second, a first-person shooter at 60 frames per second like that. And even though I said, you know what, I'm really not liking this game, I find this experience, this feeling that I'm getting playing this game enthralling. And normally, where if I was playing Bioshock Infinite on the console, I would have gave it up. I couldn't put it down on the PC. And that's what Stadia does, I think, as far as the tech and the convenience and the performance. It's just like it takes your gaming experience, whether you like it or not, and it enhances it. It's like OxyClean. That's what people don't understand. It's not about so-and-so game, because we're at the latter part of a generation. And the only people that are dropping crazy exclusives like that at the end of this generation is PlayStation. PlayStation just killed it with Final Fantasy, and but that's what they do every generation. At the end, they close out strong. But the majority of us are playing multiplats. So because we're playing those multiplats at the latter end of the generation, why not play those multiplats supercharged? And instead of me playing Division at 30 frames per second on my console, getting headaches, or trying to play it on 60 frames per second, but having a hard time streaming it because I need the latest codec, Bobak, and Dodec, or I got to drop another $300-$400 for another part. Why not just get Stadia for $130 and play it, which I think is just the best version, period. Console or PC, because I ain't got to deal with cheating. So you can't beat that. So that's what Stadia does. It's like OxyClean. You add it to your detergent and it makes things even brighter. So we got to understand that what we're getting is we're getting a first-hand look at this technology, which is great, that boosts that's good enough, even though it's in early access, it's good enough to market, and it's good enough to boost our current gaming experiences. But once it gets to the apex where it's really fully functional, It's going to take gaming and flip it on its head. Project Chimera. You just basically take assets and answer a questionnaire, and it builds the whole game for you. The whole game. Not just the world, the game. And you just tweak it. So you're talking about 4 or 5 man teams that can create these massively multiplayer online games. That's amazing. And you're only going to get that right now as things stand on Stadia. So because of that, we just got to, again, have the appropriate litmus and understand what we're dealing with here with the platform. Now, my homie Ann Munar, you know we show love to everybody. He says, most gamers, including me, don't like cloud games. No, you know what, Ann Munar? I can dig that comment to a degree. Now we're on to something. Besides your regular trolling, that I got to give you credit. I got to send you a t-shirt or something, man. We're going to have to rap behind the scenes because you do a hell of a job riling up my chat. they be looking for your head on the stick, brother. Don't ever put a picture out. No, I'm just joking, man. Munar. I got the greatest chat in the world. These are the nicest people in the world. We just love Stadia, man. But now we're on to something. Now we're cooking with grease. He says the majority of people don't like cloud gaming. I wouldn't say that the majority of people don't like cloud gaming, but undoubtedly the majority of people aren't interested in cloud gaming. Why aren't they interested? Because they don't know the truth about it. They don't know the truth about cloud gaming. Let him rock, Rev. Let him rock. Because he brought up an excellent point. And the problem is, the reason why they don't know is because of what I explained earlier. The mainstream media focusing on its chips and not focusing on journalism is why people don't know. If people knew that what they're proposing on the Xbox Series X, or I don't want to make it seem like I'm picking on PlayStation, on Xbox, but they're the ones first and foremost front out there, so no, the hell with it. But if people knew that the same thing that was being proposed for the next generation consoles, as far as backwards compatibility is concerned, if they knew that the overwhelming majority of that performance they can get without having to pay $500 for, but simply $0 for if they're playing on their laptop, $10 for if they want the 4K versions of it, or $100 for if they want to play on the TV until the Google TV, the Android TVs come out, right? That support Stadia. If people at mass knew that, and then they were able to play and feel this experience to confirm it, then that would change Amunar. But the problem is that the majority of people have been lied to, or they don't even know that Stadia exists. Why? Because these publications have an agenda. An agendaless publication is going to go out there to the masses, even call Google. How can I partner with you? We got wide reach. We want to help spread awareness. Now it's up to you guys to get the mind share. But we want to spread appropriate awareness. Let's do a campaign where we let people know how easy it is just to try the service. Let's do it for the sake of gaming. We're a gaming publication. We want to do this for the sake of gaming. You see publications working on these partnerships all the time. It's not always Xbox or PlayStation calling up IGN or somebody like that. These places call them too. Are there any goodies, any swag? We want to run some type of event. Let's partner on something. Let's talk. I'm in San Francisco. Let's talk. Let's talk about a marketing campaign, Phil. Jim Ryan. Let's do it. They do it all the time. Why won't they do this with Stadia? Just to spread awareness. Stadia funds it. They spread the word. Why don't they want to do this? Because again, it'll upset the dedicated device warlords that hold the strings to their purses. And they don't want to do that. Because again, they're looking at the same analyst charts. This ain't going to be big until 2025. I mean, this ain't going to start to grow until 2025. And even then, it's still going to be at 4% of the entire gaming market. And we still want our swag. We still want our review copies. That's all they think about. Because it's a drive to first. It's not about journalism and truthfulness and in-depth coverage. It's about first. You ever notice, and those of you that are in the Stadia community, y'all know this. Whenever there's a bad Stadia article, they all basically just write the same damn thing. Just twist the words a little bit. It's all coming from the same source. That's why, if you notice, when shout out to Duncan, when he first when he first uncovered that there was a possibility that Stadia was not going to drop day and date, everybody picked it up. Everybody picked it up. But you don't even see an eighth. And I crushed the numbers. You don't even see an eighth of the same publications that reported on the fact that that Cyberpunk wasn't coming day and date that we thought. You don't see an eighth of them reporting that actually it is. That's absurd. That's what I'm talking about. That right there capsulizes what I'm saying, Ann Lunar, is that the majority of gamers, it's not that they don't like it, they don't know about it. They're not interested because they don't know what it is. And the major publications are failing to do so. I'll even ask you, Ann Lunar, have you tried Stadia? And the answer is no. And even if you say, well, Stadia is not in my region, if you really wanted to try it, you would get a VPN. You would look it up. You're a smart fella. I know you are. I know you are. For you to get my chat so riled up, I know you are. Get a VPN, do what you need to do, play some Stadia, try it out. Like everybody else is that's actually interested. Y'all don't know what it is to care, to be interested in it. Not that y'all don't like it. Y'all are not interested in it because nobody has at a higher level that can speak to the masses has plausibly told y'all yet what it is. Now, once cloud gaming becomes more lucrative for them, or there becomes or somebody gets severely exposed enough to where it is too damaging to the reputation to not report on it. Like if somebody becomes bold and brave, works with Google and does a campaign and tries to spread the good word or the bad word, but tells the truth about Stadia across the board, does it more often to where someone like a Bryant Chappelle isn't doing more Stadia content than a 250-man group. When we start seeing them get exposed like that, like let's just say a Verge, and I know I'm throwing, let's just say the Verge says, you know, the hell with it. It's time for us to start telling the truth. We got to do something for the culture. We're going to take the licks up front because we're doing it for the culture. And let's just say they start exposing their comrades and forcing their comrades into a situation where people are like, oh, the Verge is dropping this knowledge about this Stadia thing. What's going on here? What's up with this? Oh, man. Once they start doing something like that, then you'll start seeing more publications doing something. But until then, you're not going to see it. It has to be one or the other. It has to be either somebody gets seriously called to task, or becomes financially affluent to cover cloud gaming. But it's not right now. So that's why. But great point. Eddie Player One says, you know something is being awesome. Twitter. I'm loving everyone coming with facts against haters. Yes, Eddie. And Eddie's one of them. Hey, Eddie, you know the community is waiting for you to expose your next person. And again, I get where people say, MM2K, y'all don't need to do this. This ain't the thing that y'all need to do. No, it is the thing that needs to be done. Why? Because sometimes in order to get to the truth, you got to expose the lies. Sometimes in order to get to the truth, you got to expose the lies. And people like my homie Eddie, co-host him, and the homie Storm of SSC Podcast. Check us out tomorrow on his channel, noon Eastern, right, Eddie? Oh, no, 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Eastern, I believe it is. We're going to be covering this good stuff. But people like him that are exposing the truth. That's why it needs to be done. But yes, I love it, Eddie. You're absolutely right. I love it. Bippity says, MM2K, you are dropping the mixtape, bro. I've been waiting. I'm just saying, no, you know what? No, here's what it is, Bippity. That's why I told a content creator a long time ago. I love this community, man. Agree or disagree. And like I said, that's why I always tell people, when I don't agree, don't take it personally. You know, I'm just big on like everything being put out on the table. Because the reason why I'm here is because of scenarios that I used to experience when I was in, you know, certain stores where I was lied to from the clerks, you know, because it was easier for them to try to cram more useless stuff down my throat and make me pay for it than it was telling me the truth. You got the equivalency here. There's an incentive for people to lie to you to get you to click on their content. And I'm not digging that at all. So I appreciate that, Bippity, but I get inspired when I see people like Bryant, when I see the Nerf report, and I listen to that this morning when I'm getting in the shower and I'm yelling like a coyote, because I know that was scary, because I'm overjoyed by the stuff that he's saying. Then that's because of them, not because of me. I just want to share. That's all I do. I want to share, man. And Stadia reps and spits drinks. Yeah, Brian's not. Yeah, he's not. He's tired, man. I can look. Art, don't you ever get to a point where you're tired, man? Yeah, Storm. You know how when you getting them good vibes, Storm knows what I'm talking about. He said, I ain't no damn coyote. Would you say that's a wounded dog? I got a dog up the street from me. This lady, she got these, oh my dear Lord. And the dog does that all night. So I said, I'll do that too. Whenever I see a good video, I'll do the same thing. Maybe that'll scare the dog and shut the damn dog up. But yeah, no, Brian snap, bro. He's tired, man. Aren't y'all tired? You get tired of the stupid stuff. Sometimes you just want to get up and you got your publications that you listen to. And so you see this Stadia rhetoric, and you just ain't digging it that day. You're like, what is going on here? Like, you people have, he's sitting there thinking, you people have 250 plus employees. The world's #1 publication. What are you doing? Why are you spitting this nonsense, right? So I get where he's coming from, man. I get exactly where he's coming from. It's mind numbing, and you get tired of it. But I'm not mad at him for making that video. I think that video was superb, man. That was a great video. That was a hell of a video. And shout out to Brian for that. All right, y'all. So let's take these last few moments. Hold on. Nick says, I'm still waiting on my refunds for Lawbreakers, Evolve, Battleborn, and the list goes on. Devs owe me money. Oh, come on, man. Stop it. Carlos Jimenez says, y'all should have him on your stream. Hey, yeah. Hey, look. Whenever we can get whoever we can, we got a surprise for y'all coming up. But whenever we can, we love to have Brian on, man. We love to have him on. Said we put Stadia Rev says we pushed him to make the video on my live stream. That's fantastic. That's excellent, man. Shay Kappa says tired. I know you try to be a smart behind with that one. Devin Simmons Jr. I just like people that are scared of change. Absolutely. That's what it is. It's the same breed of people that when the what do you call it? Remember the DRM thing? Here, let me do this. Show y'all some of this more. The DRM thing with Xbox. Remember how they was hating on the DRM and they was like, oh my God, DRM is going to come and eat the babies. And what it was is we end up shooting ourselves in the foot, because if we would have let Microsoft just do what they were going to do with the DM, the market would have been able to tell if it was successful or not. I kept down on this part. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me. And if the market don't like it, then it will fail. This is what I don't like. I hate when the journalists, or these writers, I'm gonna call it when these opinion writers, I don't even want to call them media anymore. When these opinion writers try to rally the troops for a cause to cancel out an option that I may like. And they always want to fearmonger. I hate using that term, but I think we got to stomp this out, because if we don't, this is going to take over gaming. Well, on the same token, we heard the same bibble babble about MP4 or MP3 players and streaming music. It's going to destroy music. You ain't going to have your CDs anymore. And like I said, I can go to Walmart right now and buy the CD that I want right now. You feel me? So it's a lot of fear mongering that's happening out there that we need to be mindful of. But we got to fight back against this media. That's what has to happen. As content creators start to prevail, more and more content creators like Brian, like my homie Storm, like Eddie and Chase of Twos and Black Kai and Ashes and Stadia Cast and my homie Clive and Cloud Rocks and Stadia Rev, you know what I mean? My homie Rick Tones now getting into the foray. The homie 6'4" once he makes a return. And the content once we start content creators like Meg and Link, you know, and anybody else that I forgot, the homies at Sounds of Stadia, Jim, Sonny, Cloudy with Gate, everybody, Stadia Source. And I didn't forget anybody, but you know, the list goes on and on and on and on to the break of dawn. My homie Ray's 343. How can I forget Ray Chariot Man Gaming? List goes on. Now, Bippity when he doing his damn thing when time permits for him to do it. When you have content creators like that educate themselves on the platform and then speak upon a place of education, whether we all agree or not, you got to admit. That's why I said when I say my things to where that may not be in agreement with this sector or that sector, don't take it personally. It's just discussion. It's diversity of thought. But believe you me, whether I agree with everybody or not, I'd rather just have a sentiment that I disagree with that's pivoting from a place of education on this platform to have the mindless hate that you get from those that follow the outrage culture or the idiot herd. And I hate to use that, but it's the truth. My God, my God, my God. Try talking to somebody who got all their news on Stadia from IGN or Yang. I'd rather give my right arm than having to deal with that. At least I have a family of people that are educated on the platform, whether I agree with every sentiment or not, that I can talk to logically and say, well, this is where I'm coming from, da, da, da. And we can have a discussion that's rooted in facts. I can't have said discussion with a Yang follower or something like that. That's why it always ends up in me, slapping them with the proverbial baby powder because they start getting so stupid, because what ends up happening is they start seeing the lack of knowledge that they have opposed to the experience that I have with the platform, and then they start getting into insults. See, I never start off a thread in insults. I always try to be nice. When they start hurling the insults, I might let the first one, the first two, sometimes even the first three go. But after that, oh, you walked into it, puppy. And when you look back at it, it makes you even more grateful that, again, agree or disagree, we do have the community that we have. Can you imagine if we didn't have, I'm sorry, JXR. Golly, my bad, bro. And the homie JXR. I have sinned. Yes, the homie JXR, man. And they said wrong. Yeah, wrong. But no, the homie JXR, definitely follow JXR, man. Follow his YouTube content. Follow him on, you're on Caffeine still, bro, right? Caffeine everywhere. Follow him on Twitter, all that stuff. It's the homie. Shout out to the homie Heath Stevens. I said Click Stevens. He says all journalism is clickbait anymore. Absolutely. So it's important to appreciate this community because it didn't have to be here. We could have all been splintered and all over the place. We could have all been splintered and all over the place. And can you imagine if we were splintered and all over the place, and there was maybe a few here in the Discord here, but we was all, and the majority of the communication that we got or news that we got, let's just say if everybody was too scared to make Stadia content. Just imagine we're going through the hot tub time machine again. Just close your eyes and imagine. I want y'all to think about this. Golly, it's giving me chills. Oh! I'm getting the rusty dog in me. Can you imagine a world Stadia community? You're not listening to me. There is no Stadia Super Saturday, Stadia Saturday. There is no Stadia Super Saturday. Yes, there's never a Stadia Super Saturday. There is no Stadia Source. There's no Cloudywood Gaming. There's no Stadia Rev. There's no Eddie Player One. There's no cloudy. There's no sunny cloud. Sunny gaming. There's no Stadia cast. There's none of that. No Storm. No Most. No Stadia Talk. No Meg. No Link. No 6-4. None of that. And in order for you to get your Stadia fix outside of just playing the game, you might have a Discord here and there with a few people in it that aren't afraid to come out of the shadows. But the majority of your gaming news would be coming from an IGN. No Bryant, no Nerf report, none of that. But how he illustrated that they only have two from the same time frame that he's dropped 51 pieces of Stadia content, himself in his garage. And IGN only has 2 articles. Yong Ye, Memecast Boy, and I love him. I'm loving Rich and Review Tech. I love you, Rich, but I know the game, brother. I know the game. This is all you got. Can you imagine? So that's why I say it's probably y'all. Some of y'all probably hurling right now. No Lloyd, no Bill or Stadia cast. None of that. No Clive and Linden, my homie Clive. I can't forget Clive. Clive is like he's like my spiritual advisor. Seriously, Clive is my spiritual advisor. No Clive and Linden. No Stadia Rocks in the Morning. Rock and Duncan. Nothing. Nothing. It's just you, your Stadia controller, few people in the Discord, and Yong Ye, or IGN, or Inside Gamer with their lame ass skits. That's all you got. Imagine it. Now open your eyes. Now open your eyes and appreciate the community that we have. Because I do. I'm talking about outside of me. That's why I can say, like I've had to tell people, I love this community. Agree or disagree, I love it. I know things, may have gotten a little tense. And, community kind of felt like it was on the verge of imploding. But that's because emotions were at a fever pitch because people love this platform. I don't doubt that people love the platform. It's just some people were agitated in a positive way about the platform. Some people were agitated in a negative way about the platform. And, it happens. But that's an indication to Stadia, to Google, that they got something that powerful in their hands. That they can only be on the scenes for 11 months and evoke that type of emotion from people who have other places to go for gaming. It's not like Stadia is the only place they could go, but they choose to stay here, and it was just this frustration. That lets Google know how powerful the platform is. So that's why it's important. That's why I said before, I'm all about talking the truth and calling out things where they get it right. I'll do that. But at the same time, you got to let people talk. Because it shows a snapshot to Google, and they need to see that snapshot. You don't invoke you don't invoke crimes of passion unless there was some serious love there. You don't give someone 52 whacks if you just like them a little bit. Those is crimes of passion. Do you feel me? Ain't no crime of passion that you thought over something you thought was all right. So I just want to, I just wanted people to think about appreciating this community. We're going to be rooted in facts. And then on this platform, we definitely, we're going to be rooted in facts, and we're going to make sure that, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, because our biggest thing is we're stewards of the truth, and we don't want gamers to be deceived or be led astray, whether it's intentional or not. But I appreciate and love this community, because I just look, man, like I got to keep it jiggy with you. I got to keep it real with you. Sometimes I get tired of talking that console war stuff. I don't care about the Bibble Watts and gigahertz anymore. A lot of people talking about these consoles are arguing about paying $500 for something that I can get for $0 now. I don't want to have that discussion a lot of times. I just don't. It's pointless to me. But when I close my eyes, I imagine having to have these conversations with those people who just don't get it. Who just don't get it. Some may cap for cloud gaming because they were told to by the head of their favorite piece of plastic, but they're never going to try it, and they just don't get it. And my brain hurts thinking of the prospects of having to have in-depth conversations with these people about something they don't know and nor they're willing to better understand. So my message about that before we go to the last subject is be appreciative of this community, because even when we don't agree, at least you have people that understand where you're coming from, agree or disagree. What happened to TGOS? You mean twos this week on Stadia? Why am I drawing up? Is that what you're talking about, Jagsaw One? Oh, man. Mule Spud says, I've seen wrong yup talk acknowledge gamers. He's just dishonest. Rich at least started to be honest. Devin Simmons Jr. says, M2K is funny because I see PC players like playing Stadia, but not console gamers. That's funny to me. He says he stepped out. Oh, okay. I got you. He's talking about, okay. He's talking about Wingy. Hold on one second. Let me blow my nose. My bad. That's how bad. That's old man stuff. I should know better than that. Yep. TGO. Shout out to Wingy. Yeah, that's true. That's true, because we played with PC players. I remember Chase. I don't know if Eddie was there, but I think it was Storm and 6-4. And we were playing Division, and the PC players were just amazed. They were just amazed. They couldn't believe that we were playing with them and keeping up with them on Stadia. Excuse me. Next we go. Stadiums are fickle and don't support nothing that is real. Oh, that's hard, bro. That's hard. I don't think that's true. He says, have fun. I'm going to try Luna, but I'm not dumping Stadia. I think Nix is trolling. Says, meanwhile, games that require official service for the full experience are some of the most successful this generation. Yeah. Yep. No, I agree with that. I do agree with that. Yep. Okay, we already got that one. Yeah. All right, so last little thing I want to talk about. Let's talk predictions, y'all. Now, I do want to say this. On to the good stuff. I did focus a lot on the media coverage, but I thought Bryant's video really compelled me to take what he was saying, put what he said specifically on the pedestal. So definitely check out his video, and it inspired me to give my take on it as well, which pretty much is just me yapping about something that he already covered well. But I just wanted to get into the nooks and crannies of it, because people got to understand that there's an agenda out here and why the agenda exists. Carlos says, I'm waiting on Luna come bundled with my Prime account. We all know this is going to happen. They said that Luna right now is not going to be part of Prime. A lot of us thought that, but there was an article that said that Luna and Prime are two totally separate entities and that they're looking into getting Luna. Oh, my Diet Dr. Pepper is all watery now. Ugh, yuck. That they're looking into seeing what cross-pollination they can do. So, Carlos, it sounds to me that they don't have any plans of mixing Luna with Prime. Now, I know they said Luna Plus. So there might be a free Luna that doesn't require a Twitch subscription, which to me is odd. I mean, it's cool in one avenue that they'll let just anybody play Luna, it sounds like, with the Luna free tier. And that's what I'm suspecting. But wouldn't you want to tie that into Prime? But maybe what they're thinking is our competitor is Google, and Google ain't tying their free subscription to anything. So I get it. So yearly membership plus family share. Who wants to adopt me in your Stadia family? Louise. Hey, we'll talk, Louise. We'll talk. Yeah, I don't know if Stadia is going to go with an annual thing. I think what they're, at least in the early access phases, I think while the player base is what it is, which we got to be honest, it's not super high. I think it's, going off of stuff that I've seen, I can comfortably saying that at the moment it's outpacing the OG Xbox, which you can look up the OG Xbox and get numbers. I can comfortably say that. I can feel comfortable in saying that. But that's not super huge. So, and then with the amount of multiplayer games that we have now, opposed to when the OG Xbox came out, that's why you might see some multiplayer modes that feel empty, to where it didn't feel that way with the OG Xbox because there weren't as many multiplayer games when the OG Xbox was out. So a smaller player base didn't hurt you that much, right? But when you got a game library that has every element has multiplayer with it, there's only so many games you can focus your attention on when it comes to when you want to play multiplayer. So with that said, I don't think that at first you're going to see annual subscriptions. I think they want a full 120 right now. But I think what you're going to see maybe in year 2 or year 3 is you will see annual subscriptions with the advent of a subscription model once their catalog gets to like 300, maybe a little bit, maybe at 200 and above. But once the catalog gets to 300 or 200, then I think you can start seeing a Stadia Plus. Where it's their version of Game Share. You know what I mean? I mean, a Game Pass. So we'll see. Mule says, I'm honestly looking forward to people turning their heads and backtracking more than announcement. Yeah. My final thing is with that, and we'll move on real quick to the final subject, is for the sake of the unsuspecting gamer, you can't just and I know Google's not going to like this sentiment, but as much as I love the platform, I don't work for Google. I'm a steward of the truth. I'm not a steward as much as, and again, I don't want this to come off the wrong way. I'm not a steward of Google. I'm a steward of the truth. I just happen to be a steward of the truth that happens to love the platform and feels that the platform is being undermined in illegitimate ways because people have agendas. That being said, I think Stadia would love nothing more but for these entities to just turn around and say, you know what? A Yang Ye to just tomorrow out of nowhere say, you know what? Stadia is great. Don't worry about what I said in the past. Just Stadia is great. No apologies, no nothing, no explanation. And from here on out is positive. They would love that. And a lot of you would probably love it too. That's not going to make me happy. Why is that not going to make me happy? Because people were lied to. People were deceived. People missed out on opportunities that really could have benefited them because of their finances. And especially during a pandemic like COVID. I don't feel comfortable saying, oh, Young is on the team now, y'all. Hey, yo, what's up, y'all? Young is on the next episode of SSC Podcast. No, that's not happening. Yang Ye, Tom Warren, even The Verge, even though they're becoming more popular, they all have to repent for their sins. And their sins, as far as I'm concerned, simply ain't just saying bad stuff about Google. Google's a multi-trillion-dollar company. They don't need MM2K to carry them across the finish line. They can take care of themselves. I'm looking out for the average Joe Schmo that could benefit from this platform or any other platform that's just looking for the truth. So a pivot without an explanation, without some civility, without any humility is not going to fly here. Oh, y'all thought I was dropping bars earlier? Oh no, I already got the mixtape. I make little tweaks and adjustments every few weeks, every month when I got to. But I got the mixtape. I got the Wall of Shame. It's already in post-production. They gonna get this work. They gonna get this work. Once Stadia hits a major milestone, or there happens to be a turn in the media, or whatever the case may be, people are going to have to die on their sword. They're going to have to come out and say, you know what? This platform is at XYZ level, and maybe there was some things that, quite honestly, we didn't have our finger on the pulse on. And that's our bad. We're sorry. But right now, there's no denying it. And it is causing us to do our job and look into this further. Sorry we didn't do it before, but we're going to do it now. So there has to be some recognition that you were doing people wrong by not doing your homework. Whether you want to admit that you weren't doing your homework or you want to admit that you were lying. And I know you ain't going to do the latter. So just get y'all papers out, call up y'all marketing campaigns, and get y'all sentences together and figure out what you're going to say. And I know a lot of people may say, MM2K, that's too extreme, but no. This stuff has to end. The lying to the general consumer has to end. Y'all ate mighty healthy while people were in the house, clicking on your articles, couldn't do nothing. Y'all ate mighty healthy. Decisions have consequences. That steak comes at a price. Y'all gonna have to come clean about something, and I'm not just gonna let it fly. The mixtape is already in post-production. That's all I gotta say on that matter. Nix is trolling the hell out of y'all. He's trying to think he's mad and Menard is getting all the spotlight. He said the truth, Menard said the truth PlayStation 5 will blow State out. Hey, Menard, you better find you a new phrase. You on like 9 of my videos with that lame ass phrase. Stop it, Buckle. Let me get Def Comedy Jam on you. All right, last bit of little piece, and then we're going. shut it down till tomorrow, is the good stuff. Got the good stuff, baby. Who was that? Was that Paul Abdul? Or I think that was Paul Abdul that made that song, The Good Stuff. I'm an 80s music fanatic. Anyway, I want to show y'all this. Okay. So I know I want to show y'all some things, and then I want to give a warning. I hit the wrong button. This is from our good friend Justin Aberti. And for those of you that don't know who he is, he's a distinguished engineer at Google /hacking on Google Stadia. He created the Google Duo and Web RTC Hangouts AIM. So he's, my homie Justin knows what he's doing, right? Shout out to him. My homie Random Noob knows who Justin is. Justin even pointed out some of Random Noob's findings, which is great. For those of you that don't know who Random Noob is, he's our own Digital Foundry. When Digital Foundry couldn't get it right about Stadia, Random Noob went to the lab and showed Digital Foundry everything that they did wrong. And when Digital Foundry had to come back and re-talk everything because they got it so wrong on Stadia, they actually used findings from Random Noob in their rewrite. That's why we call him our own Digital Foundry. And Justin has spotlighted a lot of, or has spotlighted some stuff from Random Noob. All right. So Justin says, and he's normally quiet. He says, I've been quiet the past few months as we've been cranking away on some killer new stuff for the end of 2020. We're now starting to announce what we've been up to, starting with Cyberpunk 2077 coming to Stadia in November. Wow. Now, Justin normally is not one to bloviate or over purport things and then they fizzle out. He's not known for that. So him talking like that is crazy. But here's the craziest thing to me. Google stuff is coming. We'll be lighting up your week with 3 days of announcements, reveals, and other surprises. If that wasn't enough, we'll have 3 games you can try right away. It all starts October 20th at 9 a.m. PT, 6 p.m. CET. And we got Lamar Wilson, who commented and said, I have a feeling it'll be great stuff. So, wow, if you take the fact that Justin says we're now starting to announce that we've been up to what we've been up to, starting with Cyberpunk. So the announcement of Cyberpunk 2077 coming day and date, that was just blew people's minds. That was just the beginning, is basically what Justin is saying. But now you got Lamar Wilson saying, oh, there's going to be some great stuff, meaning that, and Lamar Wilson spotlighted Orcs Must Die, earlier in the year on Stadia. With that said, man, this is insanity. But here's what I want to warn everybody. It's kind of what I was speaking to earlier. It's not about tempering expectations, but tempering your litmus. I want to caution everybody that we're going to get, I feel that we're going to get some good stuff. I feel that we're going to get some good stuff. If we don't get good stuff at all, then what this is, more than anything, is a signal that Google would have a problem connecting its rhetoric to its base. Because I will tell you this, that the general public, even the ones that know about this, they're not reporting on this because a lot of them are on standby. They're on standby. They don't want to be positive about this. They are on standby. They want to see what type of news this generates. Now, you're going to have one or two things that happen. If this generates a lot of positive news, you're going to see a mixed bag. You're going to see some people say, ooh, Stadia changed the game. Call of Duty is coming, or they're getting this, that, or the other. Some will try to find some weakness. You know, Stadia's getting a version without ray tracing or without DXR rate. They'll find something. And then you'll have those that just won't report it because it's good. But if it's negative, then you're going to have the floodgates open and them report a lot of negative news. What I want to caution first and foremost is don't expect PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X level announcements. If we get them, that's fantastic. I'm not saying that they won't be there. I'm just saying don't expect them. I'm saying don't expect them because, again, pointing back to Jack Buser and everything that's been said up until this point, Stadia has years of building the platform, building the base of it, getting to a point to where it can go against dedicated devices 1v1. This might be something to, appease the consumer base that they already have, but it may not be a type of event that is going to overwhelm the general hardcore gamer, which is going to vis-a-vis give them, exponential positive game coverage in IGN. If that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for IGN to eat crow or this is a bust, then your expectations for this event are too much. It's too much. Now, the homie Victor Del Maestro said, I wouldn't be surprised if we're disappointed. They've done it before. Yes and no. Like, that one Connect where I was way off, was I disappointed in that Connect, especially following up the PUBG Connect? I was disappointed in the content, but I wasn't disappointed in the attention that it garnered after the fact. Like, it garnered a lot of positive attention. I was shocked. You know what I mean? But again, do not expect that red meat that you're going to be able to show, or don't expect that tool sharpening thing that's going to allow you to start going haywire at IGN and start attacking them. We told you. Don't expect that. Because, again, Google is very close to the vest, and their definition of killer stuff could be stuff that is killer for the base right now. Like CD Projekt Red dropping Cyberpunk 2077 day and date is killer for us. It doesn't mean much to the average gamer, not just yet, until the perks are definitely highlighted and broadcasted abroad. Okay? So we got to understand that. Secondly, I want to talk particularly to the demos. Don't be upset if the demos are, and I brought this up on TSI, if the demos are indie demos. They could be the demos from the Stadia Makers program. And the Stadia Makers program, is indie stuff, which there's nothing wrong with that. But again, that could be the killer stuff. Well, I don't want to say that'll be the killer, but that could be the demos right there. There could be some great announcements, but then there could be some people that may like the presentation, but want to put all their eggs in the basket of the demos. All the demos weren't all AAA, or there were no AAAs, or they were a majority indie, so therefore Google failed. No. We'll get a litmus of A, what they meant by killer stuff, and B, how well in tune they are with their community after this is done. But I will say this, I got to be honest. I will say this, that if we walk away from that and we're shaking our heads like, no, that wasn't it, then that's the signal that Google has to get better at communicating with its base. It's not the end of the world, but it's a signal that Google would have to get better at communicating with its base. So again, I'm not tampering expectations. I want y'all to tamper y'all litmuses. I want y'all to go beyond just expectations. I want y'all to tamper y'all litmuses. That's how you better, it'll by partition tamper your expectations. You can't hold Stadia to the same litmus that you hold PlayStation and Xbox to right now, because PlayStation and Xbox have a lineage of multiple decades, and we're still in a generation where they have thousands of games. Stadia just came out 11 months ago. They have no prior generations. They are the ninth grader that, yes, it is that scores the promising 900, but you can't expect them to do what the senior is doing. And if you are, and that's what you're looking for with your money, I think you may have misplaced your investment. There's nothing wrong for wanting what you want, but you can't squeeze apple juice out of a turnip. So my suggestion is, everybody temper your litmuses, but be excited. I'm excited. I can't wait. Again, 11 a.m. tomorrow, I'm going to be with Eddie Player One. We're going to do the damn thing. Project Storm's going to be with us. Storm Stradamus is going to be with us too. And we're going to have a hell of a time. And we got some other surprises with you as far as MM2K appearances throughout the week. I can't say nothing yet. And I'm working on something very special, y'all. I don't want to talk too much. But with that said, let's go to the final comments in the chat, and then we'll close on out. Next week, Horse says, but you can make lemonade out of lemons. Yeah, you can. Roosevelt Phillips says, what do you think Stadia needs to do in the next 3 days to make this good times a success? That is a hell of a question. But before I get into it, my wife is here. Hold on, let me put myself on mute because she's going to yell at me about something. Hold on. Okay, I'm back, guys. All right, and gals. All right, so let me answer this question. What do I think Stadia needs to do in the next 3 days to make this good times a success? All right, so there are two words right there that coincide exactly with what I say when it comes to expectations and litmuses. You got to taper your litmus. If I'm looking at Stadia and I know what they're trying to do, which is gradually grow their user base so they can compete before the 2 years is up. And when I say the 2 years is up, I mean so they can become a major player by the time an Xbox or PlayStation brass is the majority of people that own PlayStation 4s and Xboxes, before they really start making decisions and saying, you know what, now I'm going to get into next generation. Let me see what my options are. Am I going to stay with Xbox? Am I going to stay with PlayStation? Or am I going to pick up something new? Or I might have an opportunity to get a secondary system. Let me see what that secondary system is going to be. Before Stadia has to pick off those people. They do. And they have 2 or 3 more years in order to do that. That group is not going to start coming over to 2023. I think what they need to do to start showing, okay, well, let me back up a little bit. even though they have that milestone that they have to meet, that milestone is ways off. But here's what you've done. You've created a dynamic to where now you got your community, not the gaming community, but you got the community's eyes open. So at the very least, here's what I would expect per the vocabulary that they've given. Killer stuff. We got some big stuff coming. You got to show Uplay Plus. And I'm thinking Uplay Plus, I'm gonna say it's gonna have to have 30 games. There's gonna have to be 30 games in Uplay Plus. And the price, it can't be 30 games for $14.99. I don't think that's gonna fly. Even though, if you think about it, you're getting all the Ubisoft games at that price, and that's not bad. Because if you look at Origin, well, no, Origins has over 100 games on the PC but that's the problem. The PC counterpart. If you have this at a same amount of games as the PC counterpart, but you only have like a fraction of the games that they have, then that could cause a problem for you. Also, too, we would like one of those demos to be, doesn't necessarily have to be AAA, but it gotta be a demo that really gets gamers salivating. Like it has to be a double A demo that can create mind share at least. If it's double A, it has to create mind share. I can't think of a game right now, but if if you're not, at the very least, you should have a double A game that's going to create a lot of buzz. If it's not going to be a triple A game. If you and as far as other announcements, I think you got to announce a highly anticipated game, something new coming to the system, whether it be Apex Legends. It can't be Rainbow Six. We already know Rainbow Six is coming. We already know it. So it's got to be like Apex Legends or something like, or Call of Duty or something like that. There's got to be a highly anticipated game. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the three things that have to be at least covered for a success, meaning something that I think would get the player base to walk away and say, okay, that was cool, is you got to have Uplay Plus at a reasonable price with at least 30 games, because that's something tangible that people are going to get into their hands now. You got to have a demo that if you don't have a AAA demo, that you got a AA demo that's going to create a lot of buzz and mind share globally. And lastly, you got to have like an announcement of a big game that's coming to the platform that hasn't been talked about before, a big game. And I know we've seen Pac-Man, and that's cool and all, and that's a casual, but it can't be like Pac-Man. Like I'm saying, it has to be a big game. I'm thinking like a road company. You gotta mention something. Those are my thing, because either if you don't do that, then what I think you would have done, if you don't do at least that, then I think you've created too much buzz than you needed to. If you lead off this event with Cyberpunk 2077 coming day and date, and Cyberpunk 2077 coming day and date is a bigger announcement than all the stuff that you have going on in this event, then I think it's time for Google to go back to the drawing board, to go back to that whiteboard and say, hey, look, we got to learn how to better connect with our gamers. We should have just left this announcement in the Good Stuff campaign and left that alone and not announced it at Nightwire. Those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts for it to at least be a success. And a success would be at least for your community to walk away and be like, okay, that was cool. That was cool. Okay, all right. I'm digging that. Now, when now you want me to go into Uber successes? I could do that too. An Uber success would be 2 AAA demos, an Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and a Watch Dogs. Something like two AAA, whether they be Ubisoft, at least two AAA. Uplay Plus coming with 40 to 50 games at $8.99. 40 to 50 games at $8.99. And then you tell me Rogue Company is coming by the end of the year. And you tell me, and you got two big AAA games like you say, and then you say Apex Legends is coming 2021, and then Call of Duty is coming to there you go. That's what you need for Uber success. To blow the roof off the sucker, that's what you need to blow the roof off the sucker. To blow the roof off again. Uplay Plus got to have like 40 to 50 games, $8.99. Two AA, or two AAA games as your demos. Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, something big, damn it, right? Something big. And then lastly, you start announcing some big time, the big chalupa games coming. Yeah. We got Rogue Company dropping this year, y'all. Yeah. Oh, what? Oh, yeah. We got Rogue Company dropping this year. Oh, we also got Apex Legends coming. What? You got, yay! And last but not least, y'all, we got Call of Duty coming 2021. What? Drop the mic. That's a drop the mic presentation. But again, let's taper our litmuses. Let's again. This is the ninth grader that scored the 900 on the SAT. Very promising, but let's not overshoot the moon. I would say though, because of the rhetoric that we've heard, at the very least, what we'll need for quote unquote success, for the crowd to walk away and say, okay, that's cool, is Ubisoft to have, like, I say around Uplay Plus to have around 30 games. Around 30 games. If you're not going to have any AAAs for the exclusives, there's got to be at least a AA that is going to create a lot of buzz. A lot of buzz. And you got to have at least one major game announcement of something coming to the system. So those are my thoughts. Next we go hard says, I need Smite on Stadia. Stadia talks to Superman music, yeah. And if they really want to do it. It says, V2? V2 in there? I'm going to say this right now. As much as I want, yeah. For you to blow the roof off the mug, you gotta have, if you want to blow the roof off, you gotta have version 2. That's Super Scion. Now, if you want to blow the roof off the mug, then that's what you got to do. But if you want to go Super Scion, punch a hole into the equator and destroy the whole realms of the earth, then on top of all that blow the roof off stuff, then you have Gen 2.0. And then you announce, hold on. How did I forget? Then you announce that Cyberpunk 2077 will be launching on Gen 2.0. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know there was an article before that said Cyberpunk is only launching with ray tracing on PC. But surprise them a little bit. It's coming, and show ray tracing is coming to Stadia, either coming at some point in time or coming at launch. That's how you blow. That's how you go Super Scion. But great point. Since I think Google allowed CD Projekt Red to announce Cyberpunk at Nightwire, they must have something bigger to announce at this event, or they would have saved it, in my opinion. Jacob, that's a great point. The rhetoric is too strong to where I would believe that these industry experts and these people with lineage in gaming know that you can't have in a 3-day event and have the pre-event announcement be bigger than the event. So I'm just saying, I'm just letting you guys know that, let's be real here. This is a platform in early access, in beta. You know what I'm saying? For a large part, for whatever reasons, for marketing purposes, they didn't want to say that, but whatever. We're beyond that. With that being said, they still got a long ways to go. The window is still open for them to get it super right. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, if the event fizzles, it's not, we can't say, oh, well, it's okay, it fizzled. No. Then we would have to go back to the drawing board and say, look, why was y'all rhetoric like this? Y'all didn't, y'all didn't hit any good milestones in this. You know what I'm saying? It will spark another discussion, but it's not, oh, well, it's over now. No, you still got Cyberpunk coming. You still got Uplay Plus. This event does not admonish that those things are still coming up on top of the other stuff that they got coming too. It just means what it just highlight. What it would a bad event would just highlight that, yeah, this communication thing is too unstable and they got to tighten it up. That's what it would highlight. Listen, they got this in the bag, man. This is why I don't like to make big, bold predictions like this. It's going to be a success. And we'll see. We'll see. I'm hopeful. Hey, look, man, we all hopeful that it'll be a success. We are all hopeful that it'll be a success. But with that being said, hold on one second. Let me blow my nose. We got to call a spade a spade. Like I said, if like we should like to say at Broadband Bullies, if the audio don't match the visuals, it got to be addressed. Period. But again, to help make sure that we don't over highlight expectations, we gotta balance our litmus out. We got to make sure our litmus that we're measuring this to is okay. Don't expect PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X type of events. Roosevelt says, what do you think Stadia? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the one I already read. I'm going to tell you why it won't be disappointing, because when you got developers coming out and saying good things about it, it's going to be hype. I mean, hey, I'm hoping for it too, and I'm in belief that it is going to be great. I can't wait. I can't even sleep, man. I woke up this morning 2 hours normally that I got to, and I got to take my wife to work at 4 a.m. So I woke up 2 hours, and I'm like, dang, man, it's not Tuesday. Dang, man. Why Stadia? Why Stadia? I was asking a different type of why Stadia. Here go this mug, K Boom Butu. Here go this cat. Another, he's Amunar's. Is Amunar your sock account, KB? He said the good stuff is Amazon Luna. Look, I have nothing against Amazon Luna. I signed up for it. I'll be enjoying it too. And if, let's just say in a possibility, I gotta be honest, in a possibility, because I love you Ubisoft so much, in a possibility where, let's just say if Amazon Luna plays tight, if it's a great platform, if the controls is good, and if all this other stuff is good, and then their Uplay Plus or the Ubisoft channel is a lot more robust, or if the Stadia version is too light and there's this robust and it plays well, I might have to get it there, and that'll solidify my purpose of Luna. You know what I'm saying? At least, but that's not going to admonish my Stadia, my purpose for Stadia. I get to buy the game that you're seeing right now. I get to buy games like that a la carte. I ain't got to keep subscribing into a channel. I can buy the license and have the license in my possession and keep playing it when I want to without having to pay anything extra. Buy it outright. So that's the good stuff too. And Carlos says, I knew the media was biased when IGN had a video review and the guy was talking all kinds of crap and he started playing Grid and was surprised it worked so well. Yeah, this is what's disappointing, Carlos, is that these are supposed to be tech people. And tech people want to see enhanced tech grow. And I've never seen so much old fogeyism about new tech like I've seen here. Like, it'd be different if it didn't work, but even when it works, they have a problem with it. And to me, it's utterly disgusting. And outlets like IGN, you know, when people say, oh, it's a shame that IGN is shrinking and they're losing, you know, coverage or ability to cover here, and they've had to shrink and close down in this area. I mean, I'm always, you know, it's always difficult to hear people losing jobs. But at the same time, the machine has to be stopped. You know? And when these publications start getting smaller and smaller and smaller, this is why. Because once you get exposed and people catch on to what you're doing, they start leaving you. We see it all the time. And and the Stadia community has become its own self-sufficient hub of Stadia news. When somebody in their basement, like Bryant said, when somebody in their basement, one guy in his garage, can do a better job of reviewing. It's not just they're not covering it. They don't even, when they do talk about it, they don't even cover it accurately. Like, even if you don't like something, just off of sheer integrity alone, you would think that when you go to talk about something, you're accurate about it. And the fact that they lack accuracy when talking about this tells it. So, with all that said, y'all, it's a shame, but it is what it is. And hopefully over time, we can do better as a community to help influence better, period. And what that's it from your boy, man. I appreciate all of y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming out. And until tomorrow, y'all. Well, again, we'll see y'all 11 a.m. tomorrow with Eddie Player One. His link will be in the description. Go to Eddie Player One's channel. And with that said, we'll see y'all. Also, I'll see y'all on Wednesday somehow, some shape, form, or fashion. But, you know, be ready for tomorrow, y'all. I'm excited. That said, you all have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.